they definitely have some interesting things going on when it comes to. I don't know. I just still feel like there's some voter suppression type tactics being used,
Mhm.
and but they're a little more subtle, and so it's not just like overt in your face.
Right.
I think in some places actually it's even still overt, but to have people standing outside waiting to vote till 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning is just ridiculous.
Goodness. I know we were out on the grounds at some of the polls, and it was at least a 2 hour wait for some voters. So it is very important to kind of go in early, try to do the early voting so you won't run into that. And you can go, early voting anytime. This year, though, they did change in some areas where you can vote anywhere.
Right.
So that kind of helped a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Still a lot of work to do.
Yes.
Still a lot of work to do. So an interesting development just took place in relation to the whole voting process. So
Okay.
the Democratic Party actually just actually filed something in the courts to reinstate the straight party ticket.
Oh, really?
They are serious about it. They're actually trying to act from what it looks like they're trying to actually get it back reinstated by November.
So, what was the reasoning behind that?
I just think that it was politics, it was a political move.
Mm.
So our governor, who's Republican, and how I feel about the situation,
Okay.
because I haven't really just studied it in
Right.
depth, but I do know that Democrats are for, Republicans are against it. The Republican currently in place made sure that he wrote it into law to make sure that bill got passed and put in place, because clearly he saw that it was hurting the Republican Party more than it was hurting the Democrats,
Right.
or more than it was helping them.
Right.
And so a big part of that definitely is politics. It's not about what's best for the people.
Of course
You
not.
know, so that's the sad part about it is when everything's about politics, and when in reality politics is supposed to be
About the people.
about the people, right? It's supposed to be about service and serving your constituents. But
Right.
it seems like at every turn people are doing what's in the best interest of them and their position, and them holding on to their political titles as opposed to doing what's right by the people. So because definitely a part of those laws have to do with that with people having to now go all the way down.
Right,
the
and actually pick a candidate and actually pick
they're staying in the booth a lot.
The whole line,
Exactly.
go down the whole road.
So they stay in that booth a lot longer, and of course that is is politics.
Right.
At its worst.
Yeah, and even at the polls, we were kind of handing out the pamphlets that had all of the nominees on there, and had all of the information for each one. Kind of like, just giving them information on who they could vote for, what their options were.
Right.
And it showed everyone. So, nonpartisan. But it is showing, kind of helping or aiding, because truly some people don't know the people. They don't even know who they're voting for,
Right.
which was a good thing, though, because now you have people going out to vote that don't even know the people, but their mission is to actually vote.
Right.
So I think that was a good experience for me to see that people were adamant about getting out to the polls and actually casting a vote.
I agree. Again, we know that a lot of that the first wave has already taken place in terms of elections, and some folk made it through to continue their run, and some didn't.
I know.
And some that I thought should have still been around, but again, we know we don't always necessarily get what we want.
Right.
But I'm just hoping that the people voted their conscience, and ultimately who gets put in place actually will represent the voice of the people.
Right. And which is always our hope that happens, because so oftentimes we get misrepresented, by the person that's in office. And, we are not all at the same levels. People are at different levels in life, in economic status, and so it's important to know the people that you govern and the people that you represent.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that makes politics complicated is the fact that is that there is such diversity with with constituents.
Right. Right.
And so sometimes what's in the best interest of one demographic may not necessarily fit the interests of another, and so so sometimes there is somewhat of a juggling act because there's only so many resources to go around.
Right.
But but again, ultimately, you want to have people in place that definitely represent your interests as best as possible.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
So, if you guys don't know, there are parts to the voting process. We just went through early voting and the actual primary. And what the primary means is exactly that. It's before the actual election. And so the primary allows for more representatives or more nominees to be able to get in the race and to actually present their case on who and what they want to represent. And then you have that election. And so that was the primaries on the 3rd, March 3rd. After the primaries now, the people that did not get a majority vote now have to do a runoff.
Right.
And so that will happen in about 30 days. There will be another election. So some people got the notion that their candidate or their nominee won, and it's not actually that, because if they didn't get the majority vote, which is at least the 50, right, then now they have to go into a runoff with the nominee that had the next amount of votes. So that's what happens with the runoff. So we'll see another election coming coming soon is for the runoffs, and then that candidate will go on to the general.
Right, because
that was a lot of explaining, honey.
Exactly. We'll say it though. So primaries are just again the opportunity for each party to officially nominate who they would like to run in the generals against the in this case it's typically Republican or Democrat.
Right.
And they'll meet in the generals. The primaries are just to weed out the candidates, to narrow it down to who the party wants to represent them in the generals. And so, yeah.
Listen, politics, honey, politics.
Yeah. So what I would like to do is highlight an historical black figure in politics. I said that that my promise to our people, our viewers, is that we will always highlight a melanated face,
right?
Somebody who looks like us, who put in some work and sacrifices to remind us of the importance of not taking this stuff for granted.
Love it.
And so who I have back here, this beautiful face up here is Shirley Chisholm. And she's actually she actually was the first African American woman voted or elected into Congress.
Cool.
Back in '68.
That's sweet. I'm for the women now.
Yeah,
okay.
So I love the campaign, as you can see, right? Unbought and unbossed.
Oh, unbossed, honey.
You feel that?
Ooh, I feel that.
But what's interesting and sad at the same time is that she was passionate about a lot of things that is still a problem today.
And so, that's sad, right?
From '68 to 2020, child education, quality education for children, health care, decent wages for in terms of the minimum wage, right? Equal pay for men and women. I mean, just things that should have been resolved.
Right.
People are still running on, in their campaigns, because they are still issues that have not been adequately addressed. And so that's just the crazy part about it, is somebody way back when so strong about about certain basic things that should be human rights, should be automatic. In 2020, we are still wrestling with these issues. Right.
Sad. I'm trying to figure out where we are in progress. Like generally, where are we in progress? I have seen some progression, but for me, which is sadder, is that we see progression and then we see digress, and so then you have to wonder where is the progression, because once we get 5 steps ahead, we fall 10 steps behind. So it's like you're never really progressing, you know.
And that may also be why some people are just kind of disillusioned about the whole voting process.
Mm-hmm.
Why they don't really feel like their vote counts, because they don't really see change.
Right.
They don't really see how it makes a difference in their everyday life. And that's why a show like this is important, because we have to educate people about the reality that everything that goes on in your life is politics in some way.
It is. Goodness.
And everything that happens in politics affects you.
Right.
And so you want to be involved in that process, because reality is, you would want to have your hand in it and influence it as much as you can, to at least give yourself a greater opportunity and a greater chance to just influence the process, as opposed to just letting things be done to you.
Exactly. And the thing about it is involvement. Like, you need to get involved, no matter what it is, community type forums, events, things that are a benefit to the community. You kind of need to get involved. You need to know what's going on around you. The gentrification thing is very, very big now. It's very important for you guys to keep your land and property. Okay?
We're not making no more land.
Okay. It's important though that you keep that and don't. I always say it's like selling out. Like, don't sell out for $1. At the end of the day, getting up your 40 acres and a mule is very important. It's a reason why they said that. It's a reason why they were saying that, and it's a reason why they wanted it. Okay, and it's a reason why they're coming and asking you for it. So you need to be informed and stay involved.
I agree. In fact, what I actually want to do is I want to do a history of voter suppression. To show people
that's good.
Because what I really want to do is show people that your vote has to mean something for them to try so hard to suppress
stop it. Come on here.
So you need to pay attention to that. Why would they be so
change your mindset?
Exactly. So we're gonna go to commercial breaks, and we come right back. We're gonna serve you more of this TNT and politics.
Yes, honey.
Stay tuned.
You're watching Boss Up Houston Network. Stay locked and stay tuned. It's Boss Up Houston Network. Tune in to Boss Up Houston. The Naked Truth. Vibrations from the soil. The Simon's Christian TV show. The Gidget Lewis Show. Breakfast with Sonia. TN Politics. It's the Naked Truth Network and Boss Up Houston Network. It's Boss Up Houston, where we look up, stay up, and boss up.
we are back with TNT in Politics. This is Shamir Bacon. I'm your host.
And Edward Davis, we're back to give it to you again. Oh my goodness. We do not want that. We do not want this playing right now. But see, we got to really upgrade some stuff around here. We'll talk about that on another show as well. This internet is really sluggish, and so stuff is just playing on its own and doing some weird stuff. That's a technical issue for our tech guy.
Say that. It's politics. It's politics, honey. It's politics.
Everything's politics.
Yes.
Including who your service provider is. Who's gonna give you the best package? You know, is it AT&T, T-Mobile,
right?
Comcast?
You know,
whoever,
I was just saying it the other day. I was like, you know, it's certain entities that are in competition with themselves, like Chick-fil-A, Starbucks. You know, those entities, they're just in competition with themselves. So you can see a Starbucks right here and a Starbucks across the street, you know, which is crazy to me. But, I mean, they have monopolized the situation. So when you were talking about, you know, your choice, you know, right, the choices you make, you know, it matters. It matters.
I agree. So, I want to take this real quick to I guess what's going on, just kind of some trending stuff in the news right now. Because we talk about politics, it's something going on right now that's affecting politics and economics, and it's called coronavirus.
No, not the corona.
And it's interesting. It's funny too. I saw somebody put a post up, and this probably was before your time. I forgot you kind of was still a baby.
Wait a minute now.
They were just like, if you drank Boom Farm.
Oh Lord!
You are immune. You are immune to the coronavirus.
Really?
They made somebody, you know, old
So
school.
what did Boom Farm have in it?
They just basically saying you can have that, you can have anything.
Oh. Yes, I don't know anything about that.
See, I tell you. So, but yeah, it's just that right now they're just having a lot of problems with it because they're not able to contain it and respond quickly enough to the testing. So Trump is kind of getting a lot of, you know, he kind of getting it. They're going in on him behind. I guess he's trying to overpromise. Mm-hmm. He's overpromised things and he's under delivering.
Right.
And it's definitely not being contained because we definitely see now that it's, you know, that we have some cases, quite a few cases in the United States, and from what I last read, there were actually 2 reported cases in Harris County.
Oh,
so
goodness.
So it's local. It's here. So wash your hands, because again, fundamentally the key is still good hygiene.
Right.
Washing your hands thoroughly, right? Know how to wash your hands. Like one of my homegirls posted on her page about the face mask. The face mask only works if you don't
get contaminated. If you contaminated, you contaminated.
Right. And if you don't keep touching it, taking it out, put it back
right.
on. You rub your hands all on it, you're touching stuff. I mean, so the mask is probably only good for one use. If you take it off and put it back on, it's probably not a good look or a good use. So it's really about knowing how to protect yourself
right.
as best as possible. And ultimately, it's hard to say how dangerous it is because it has claimed a lot of lives. But it seems to be claiming more of the elderly. So
where the immune is low.
Exactly. So what I'm gathering is that if you're already sickly and have a weak immune system or elderly,
you need to be extra careful.
You have to be extra careful. I'm not because we all could possibly die from it, but they definitely have a higher probability. Most people actually survive it. So it's not like a death, it's not like a death sentence.
Right.
You don't automatically die because you couldn't track corona.
Yeah.
But it has devastating economies.
I hate it.
Folks don't even want stuff shipped from China
I know, like, I ain't gonna get my half from China.
Not right now.
You want that Indian.
It's over there too. So.
Oh. What am I gonna do?
So it's definitely affecting the hair.
Right.
I don't know what your sister's gonna do. But boy, I would hate to see a drought come that way.
Wait, what that mean?
if y'all can't get access to that hair, it's that's politics for real.
Okay, so real politics going on. Huh? It's gonna be a riot.
Yeah, exactly. There's gonna be some protesting and pickets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's funny. I was also on, we always on social media, and they had the hand sanitizer, but it was like they were selling hand sanitizer. He was like, "Get at me! I have the hand sanitizer," because some of the stores were out of the hand sanitizer and the cleansing things. So it is crazy that we are all dealing with it. It is affecting us. So prayers up.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, definitely. You have a lot of, like I said, with the economy especially, we have, they're trying to do everything they can to slow it down, but, stock market's still closing, all-time lows. People are just not, businesses, being heavily affected in many ways.
Yes.
Even with the South by Southwest is coming to Austin, right? A lot of people are just not coming.
Right.
Because, a lot of big names.
Afraid of getting contaminated, which is understandable,
Yeah. And I just did a training at FAA, which is the aviation, the people who who got our planes in.
Right.
And anywhere around the airports, if you go into the gas stations, even all the gas attendants and the clerks are wearing masks because there's a lot of a lot of foreign international traffic that comes through there.
And so spring break is coming up. So how do you think that's gonna affect the outings and things of that nature of spring break, traveling and all of that? It is really affecting us. It's crazy.
So like I said, we just stay tuned and see what happens. But I think it's funny when we talk about the hair though, because it made me think that the best way to get a person involved in politics is to
take something away
that they really
now they go try to go
really
and figure it out.
They're really passionate about it, or and they feel strongly about it.
Right.
And so at any time that hair shut down.
Okay. Let me see how we can get something.
Every black woman in the United States is going to be trying to vote.
Some resources coming in, honey.
And get involved in some kind of process to see how they can,
That is funny.
Access. So this is interesting.
Yes. Now, another thing, we got to go to the millennials. We got to go to the millennials, especially for voting, because with the voting for millennial, like we were talking about before, the census is already being done and reconstructed and things of that nature. And so I'm just wondering how the millennials are going to affect that and what politics will look like moving forward. I had read a article from the Forbes, and they were saying because the millennials are so liberated, the millennials are not into the old system of law and the old judicial, but those statutes are still in place, but they are counteracting those statutes. And so I'm just wondering how the politics is going to change and what it's going to look like going forward.
That actually would be also a good question for our guests who are coming in, who are some really young brothers.
Yes.
Tyler Smith and Kenneth Jones. They're doing some pretty nice stuff. They're really involved in politics and consulting.
Cool.
And
I thought that was real cool.
Some really young brothers
Yes.
involved. I would definitely like to get their take. But we also can do right now is kind of take it to the streets and see.
Take it to the streets.
See what common folk are saying about some of these issues and some of these questions. So let's take it to the streets.
You guys, back again. It's your girl Vanessa with TNTN Politics, and I have another guest with us today. Tell everybody your name for us.
Cedric Benson.
All right, Mr. Cedric, how you doing? You good?
Yes.
I know we see you pretty preoccupied right now. Just got a couple questions for you, okay? So, do you think politics is important, and if so, why?
Politics is important because we needed to survive. You know, we got they come up with different laws that affect us all. So in a different light, you know, we gotta vote in some type of way if we want to make a change, or if we, you know, got anything to say about it. You gotta vote.
Speaking of voting, do you think your vote counts?
It counts in a way. It counts in a way. But you know, it's still left up to them to do the right thing by the votes. You know.
That's right. That's right. Okay, now I'm gonna give you a little trivia question real quick, and it seems like you might know the answer, so I'm gonna spit it at you. There are 3 branches of government. Can you name all 3 of them?
Legislative, executive, and judicial.
All right, ding, ding, ding. We got a winner. We got a winner on our hands, you guys. This is absolutely great. Thank you so much, Mr. Cedric.
Yes.
Cedric, for, you know, being a part of TNT and politics. It was awesome. It was a pleasure. All right, that's about it, man. It's the best we got, man. He said it all. He put it out on the table for you guys. Let's keep it moving.
All right, you guys, we are back. This is TNT and Politics. I'm your host, Shamir Bacon.
I'm your host, Edward Davis.
Yes, and we are here. I just want to do some quick shout outs. Shout out to Katina Thomas. Hey, girl, how you doing? Miss Dion Wilkes, what's going on? What's going on? Derek Grant, Andy Weaver, William Robertson Jr., Dirk Richardson, and Rush. Hey, Rush, how you doing, Rush? Rush to vote. All right, all right.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Ed?
Well, just want to talk real quickly about the interview that I guess we can call her our political media correspondent.
Yes,
Miss
V.
I did in that barbershop. It's just interesting when you hear what people think. He sounded like a pretty intelligent young brother.
Right.
He definitely knew that it was important to vote if you want to be a part of the process.
Right.
But what I always kind of hear, just like with the other one she did with the guy from London, I kind of always hear still a bit of pessimism and even being a little cynical, right? In terms of like people just have a poor perception of how much their vote counts.
Right. This is true. I've even had that discernment or the feeling that, should I really go and vote, or is it gonna matter? Should I stand in the line? Am I wasting my time? I've had those concerns.
Yeah, and I think at some point again we all have. Ultimately, why I like the focus of this show is because even though we touch on everything that's going on in politics in general, we place an emphasis on what's going on locally.
Right.
And I think that more than anything, that's where it counts the most because that's what you can touch. Right? So when you have a situation where you're trying to figure out where to place your energy, and a lot of times the best place is on a local level because you have access to them. You have much greater access to them.
Right.
And you can really see the change, right? You can see the road, the pothole get fixed.
Right.
That you may have complained about to your congresspeople or your local officials. You can go in front of the school board, and argue your position on whether or not they're going to close down the school or open another school or where resources are going, etc. You have access to the mayor,
right,
and to the Harris County Attorney's office and other places to get certain grievances answered. And so for me, it doesn't make sense for the level where it counts the most to have the least turnout of all the elections. And that just means again that you need to be better educated. You'll run out for a presidential election, and most of the time you won't really feel the change.
And that's why, because your immediate area is where the focus needs to be first. And again, that involvement and getting involved and actually knowing what's happening. And I always say too, like, if you didn't get out and vote, if you don't go to any of the community events, city hall or the town hall meetings, or the causes that help the community as a whole economically. They have redevelopment type forums where your community is able to be redeveloped.
Right.
And they have those forums and they ask the questions, what do you need? What do we need to put in place to help this community? And most of the time, nobody is there. Is no voice. And so we do have to get involved to see the change indirectly and then directly.
Right, because I can complain about something if you're not.
Exactly.
If you're not making something
what you're saying,
available.
what you're talking for.
Right. I agree. My attitude is once you open your mouth and complain about something, it becomes your responsibility to play a role.
To do something. Exactly.
Don't be problematic. Don't just talk about woe with me.
Exactly.
What are we going to do to address it? And what part are you going to play in that process?
Right.
As opposed to just pointing out what's wrong.
Right. So it's the problem, solution, and execution.
Love it. So we're going to go to another quick commercial break. When we come back, hopefully we have the guests in the building. If not, we're going to keep it moving and just talk about, because again, it's just like a lot going on. So, and a lot you need to be informed on. So,
yes.
So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. See you.
I'm proud of our communities. We're stepping up in ways we have not had to before. We are ensuring that our youth have access to mentorship so that they can lead productive lives. We are empowering our loved ones to make informed decisions about healthy choices and the importance of seeking medical attention. We are identifying mental health issues and connecting them and their families with professionals who can help them. And there are many more issues our communities face every single day. And all of this work begins with our nonprofit organizations. Hi, I'm Jacqueline Terrell with J. Terrell Consulting Firm. We believe that strong organizations create strong communities, and we cannot do it without you. So if you have a passion for your community and want to use that passion to meet a need, we're here to help you through that process. We provide assistance with nonprofit formation, website development, social media and marketing, strategic planning, board recruitment and development, risk management, legal compliance, grant writing, government reporting, and accounting. Whether you need help with one or all of these services, we can create a package especially for you. First, go to our website at www.jterrellconsulting.com and download our free ebook, The Quick Start Guide to Nonprofit Formation. The Quick Start Guide gives you a background on nonprofit formations and the governmental entities involved in the process. You may also contact us by using the Contact tab. We look forward to working with you. J. Terrell Consulting Firm. Strong organization, strong community.
And we're back with TNT in Politics, your political right to know outlet. I'm your host, Edward Davis.
And I'm your host, Shamir Bacon.
And when we left off, we were just talking about the importance of getting involved on the local level, understanding that, not only should you have a voice and make your voice heard, but it's even more important that you get involved with being more about the solution as opposed to just the problem.
Exactly.
So that's one part of it, but also the fact that if you have people in position that you've elected into position to do a job, it is our job to hold them accountable. And so we want to make sure that they are doing the job that they were hired to do. But again, you have way greater access to those people on a local level than you ever would on a statewide or a national
level.
So
Yeah.
again, it just doesn't make sense if you think about it for you to turn out in such great numbers for a national election and then completely just drop the ball where it counts the most. So again, always make sure that you understand that locally is where you need to start. It's almost like saying start in your own backyard or in your own house before you go out and try to get involved in somebody else's house and some other stuff, right? So,
listen, don't come in my backyard until you done swept around your backyard, okay?
Yeah. So again, way too often we just again, like I said, we just need to start really drilling that.
Right.
And so, like I said, I'm definitely going to end up doing a show, like I said, just about the history of voter suppression, because we just need to understand that your vote definitely has to count if they're trying so hard, if historically tried so hard,
exactly,
to prevent you from getting to those booths.
That's true.
So.
Well, I just want to point out that okay, I'm just stuck on this millennial thing because I have a 20-year-old. And she was just like, I don't know, I'm doing all that. I don't want to go vote. We gonna do what we gonna do every day. Things happen, that's their mindset. Like, they get up and they do things and wanna do things, and they feel like the sky's the limit. So with the views being so different from millennial to the people that are actually in office is crazy. And so I'm just trying to wrap my head around how those views and values will mesh, because again, that's a reason why they feel like they're not being heard, because the value system is so different from the candidates are like 77, 78, 73. These are the presidential candidates, and our millennials 18, 19, and 20. I mean, this is decades and decades upon decades of difference in value and the value system. And so I feel like that's where the disconnect is. Also that our laws are so set in stone, even though some have been amended, but generally we still follow the law of the land.
Right.
So I can't wrap my head around it. Oh, we got a phone call. We have a phone call.
Yes, sir. Welcome to TNT and Politics. Who do I have?
Yeah, nice little show, man. I heard y'all talk about something about the coronavirus, and I want to have y'all take on this. Now I know everything that we do is politics, and when I was growing up, I was taught if you want to understand politics, follow the dollar.
That makes sense.
So, knowing how that this coronavirus has affected international travel and other things, do you think this is politically influenced? Because now you can't even order certain things from certain companies because of this virus.
I want to say,
Yeah, I know you always talking about the hair and whatnot, but like I'm a big purchaser online. I do a lot of things. I order shirts and clothes and shoes, and right now I'm on certain websites that would not let me order anything from these websites.
Right.
So it's just so strange that all of a sudden, around these election times, and things going on with China and this NBA basketball thing, as though somebody pockets was affected by this NBA thing. Okay, now you hurt us like this, we're gonna hurt y'all like this. Now this thing is went global. Now it affects import, export, worldwide travel. So, I just think it's politically motivated. It's a lot of money behind this. It's a lot of money being lost behind this. So I'll leave it with y'all and see what y'all got to say about it.
Young brother, that's a good point. Love it. Thank you.
So, you want to address that?
I'll go first. I'm gonna give y'all the short version, okay? Definitely everything is politics. Definitely everything speaks politics. And I do want to say that in this, if it was a political move, I applaud the move. And the reason why is because now it's forcing us to stay within America, to gather goods, to gather produce, to gather it. Our money is here. And generally, I know y'all don't like the president. I know y'all don't like the Trump and his Trumpisms, but generally, that's what Trump is all about. He's like, we here. Why are we going outside when we can make all the money here? We can push and provide for each other. Now, this is a thing that goes into business because that's the success mechanism of business. Everybody that's connected, we stay within the circle, we push each other, support each other, and we all grow together and we all get to the top. But there have been so many outsiders with America that it has to be a shutdown. So, hey, I'm with the brother. I don't know, but I'm with him.
That's an interesting take you have. You dropped some jewels right there.
Knowledge, honey.
And again was just to kind of piggyback off what you're saying. Not only does that extend to business in general, it also extends to demographics. What I mean by that is us as black people, we don't support each other.
Right.
We don't patronize our businesses like other people.
That's
do,
right. That's right.
And that's politics, right?
That is politics.
The average Jew or Caucasian, their money might float in their community for weeks and months.
Years.
Ours is gone in less than 24 hours.
I'm trying to tell you. Yes.
Because we are consumers, for the most part, and so but we always again patronizing, other establishments that don't keep that don't keep the resources in our community.
Let me interject right there because I don't want to lose my thought, but I am agreeing with you on that. Also, that because I've been an entrepreneur for over 6 or 7 years, fully, and you have to understand the mechanism of a startup. The next level from that, and then the next level from that. Because if you're going to patronize, you have to work with the startup. Any other business entity, as well as your same race, has started somewhere. Right. They had to start. But the difference is that we as an African American culture, we see one little thing, and that's our big deterrence of not supporting again. When you are a startup or an entrepreneur, you are in the beginning stages. Sometimes you don't even know what you're doing. But we have to cultivate a culture that still supports, not talk about each other, not downplay each other, not disgrace somebody on social media, but say, you know what, maybe I can help in some way. What is my expertise so that I can help this person get to the next level? And maybe that'll be reciprocated. We have to change our mindset, change our focus to get to those cultural developments in our lives.
I agree. And the main thing is that if we're gonna critique or criticize, it should be in such a way that helps.
It's a help. Better, right? Yes.
So I do have some problems with your service, but I'm going to show you what you're doing wrong so you can be better. Right.
Or what affected me. Right. You might not think it's wrong. You might think that's just what you do. Okay, but this affected me. I'm purchasing your product. Right, so in everything, it should be a learning process. Not a loss, but a learning process. I agree.
Agree. And back to what the caller was kind of alluding to about this whole thing being politics. I would not be surprised if some people are not wanting this thing to be contained for political reasons that then extend to economic reasons.
Big brother.
Because you have to understand that, so let's talk about the nature of politics so you can understand better what the caller was saying, right? And how politics and economics are kind of one and the same.
Right.
When we talk about why guns are still so readily available and accessible,
Come on here.
it's because big money is padding pockets. Right?
Readily accessible, but killing our children in churches and come on here.
But the whole point is that the politics of it is when you have the organization that manufactures the guns lobbying and paying these big dollars to these politicians to not change the law,
right, to keep it
that affects their pockets.
Exactly.
That's politics, right? So the very things that affect us in terms of that kind of those kind of things being accessible,
right,
behind the scenes is politics working that's keeping that in place. So what I'm saying is that politics doesn't always work in the best interest of the benefit of even of the consumer.
That's right. That's right.
How long were major manufacturing companies lobbying to keep solar powered cars and other energy efficient vehicles off the road,
market,
right off the market, because it would hurt their pockets because of the model that they currently wanted to push and sell. And so they deliberately found key politicians, lobbied those politicians to ensure that whatever law was passed, it was in favor of what was currently in place and not the disruptive technology that would undermine their pockets.
Yes.
Right? So you can't get a good affordable car.
It's heavy, honey.
That's politics.
It's heavy.
Right? So paying these high prices for gas, for fuel, but that's politics. So
because it's like you have to get gas. What else are you gonna do? Like you can't move your car without gas. It's politics.
Yeah. So again, with the coronavirus and the spread of it, you better believe that in every situation somebody has found a benefit. Yeah. In the disruption. Mm-hmm. And it could be some people powerful enough to contain it, but not want to, for political reasons.
Of course not.
Right. So that's my spiel on it, but again, great insight from the caller.
Yes, and, love that. So. That was cool.
Yeah. So besides that, talk really quickly about
the age gap.
Yeah, about this age gap.
Now so first of all, I'm blown away, definitely because the delegates for the presidential nominees, again, the age is between 77 and 73. Donald Trump is 73. And Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden are 77 and 78. So, the age gap is crazy. But when I looked at the Republican vote, okay, this is like unbelievable that they have like 833 delegates that pledged for Trump and one for one other nominee, which was Bill Weld. This is crazy. So again, with the supporting and the drive of supporting one nominee helps and builds their campaign and their push because they're not divided. So 833 delegates.
And they've already got a head start on even generating funds.
Right.
To put in the reserves to run the campaign.
Right. And you have to understand that too about the runoff. The runoff is a whole nother election. So the people that are actually going in runoff, they're now running off against each other while the person that actually won the majority vote, they chilling.
Stacking their paper, waiting and
ready for that general, honey. Okay, exactly. Y'all better get to know these politics. Politics is real, okay?
Yeah. So the age gap thing, it is interesting.
Yes.
All of these old heads are the best we got, the best we have to offer. The people. I will say though that that there is still a large portion of the population that are older, and so they may identify, with that. Mm-hmm. And I also feel like the reason why this is happening as well is because not enough millennials are getting involved in the political process. So you don't have the level of influence to put a younger face in
Right,
office.
and that's what they were saying. They were so liberal, so free of trying to even deal with it. You know, it's an unmatched type of situation to where we don't even really have a full count of the millennial existence or vote in politics. We don't really have an actual or accurate number.
So what would you propose we did to start getting millennials more involved, or even piquing their interest to the point to where they're even paying attention. Now, now, what I can say about Bernie Sanders is, as old as that brother is, he's pretty good at igniting that spark in in younger people. I mean, these universities, they go crazy for some Bernie.
Right.
And these are some younger. He definitely by hands down has the largest following of millennials and that younger generation, young working professionals, etc. So it's interesting, and again, I think that's just because in a lot of ways his views, they do align more with how a lot of millennials think.
So what's crazy is that that the millennials are more on the outside of politics, even though I believe they're knowledgeable about what's going on. They just want to actually see a change. So they're about the movements. They're about the walks. They're about the protesting. They're about actually going and making a change. You can see it even through social media. They have the forums and they have the meetups and the visuals. So it's not that they're not actually in the politics, is that they don't want to be a part of the process. So I'm not sure how to bridge that gap to where it's infiltrated into our standard politics, because our politics have been in statute for so long. So I don't really have an answer for that.
My thing is they have, because I get what you're saying too, and I agree with that. That a lot of times they are active.
Right.
They are active, I guess you can say political activists, right? So they're active, but they're not involved in the process. Because you can see that a lot of times, you'll have candidates that appeal to their generation that have rallies that thousands upon thousands show out.
Yes.
But it doesn't reflect it
in the
when
vote.
it's time for the poll to go to go and get in that booth. So they'll turn out for the rallies and all of the things that involve a movement, right? But won't show up to be a part of the actual process. But my thing is, ultimately they have to understand that the process is there, and the only way to change that process is if you
get involved.
Right? Because I ain't gonna say if you can't beat them, join them. I don't want you to.
Right. No, don't say that.
I don't want you to that cliche. But I do want to say that the best way to change something is from the inside.
That's true.
That's true. And so what you need to start trying to do is get enough people that look like you, and reflect your values in those positions. Then the laws and the legislation can start getting changed that would actually start undoing the system that you don't like. But you can't undo that system on the outside.
You can't.
Right?
You cannot.
So, but this was a good.
Yes, I love it. So, great show.
Yeah. So again, we just want to encourage y'all to always. Adele would say, I just love watching Adele's show. This is one of the, I listen to her talk show. But this is one of the, she would always end her show with, no one can do everything, but if everyone did something, then everything would get done.
Oh,
right?
I like that.
And that's kind of what we want to just encourage. Like, whatever level you feel comfortable, get involved. But understand that in every way, what's going on locally is going to impact you and affect you the most, and you can see the change. And so, if you want to stop being disillusioned about politics, if you get involved on a local level, because you can touch it, you can reach out and touch it.
Right.
It makes a difference. So I just want to encourage everybody to just do that, right? To get involved, on whatever level. I'm not asking you to be another a Martin or Malcolm.
Okay.
You know, you ain't gotta be.
You ain't gotta land on Plymouth Rock.
Exactly. You don't have to be a martyr for the people, right? I'm not asking you to do anything grand.
But we applaud the ones that do.
Exactly. But I am saying, right where you are with what you have, start making a difference. Start getting involved and start understanding and educating yourself about how to get more involved, and how to change the things that you see that you don't like.
Right.
Because again, it becomes your responsibility when you identify the problem.
Yep.
So
that's it. That's politics, honey.
All right. And again, everything is politics. So this is TNT in Politics. Again, your political right to know outlet. We appreciate you tuning in. Again, I'm your host, Edward Davis.
And I'm your host, Shamir Bacon. Tune in on Fridays at 6 p.m. sharp.
And we'll see you on the next run.
All right. Oh, that was good.